Tonight from Washington, Robert Mueller grilled on the Hill.
The high-stakes showdown after President Trump repeatedly said the Mueller report exonerated him. Robert Mueller is asked, did you exonerate the president? How he answers. Also, can the president be charged with a crime when he leaves office? Tonight, the president now responding just a short time ago. Also tonight, the urgent manhunt right now for two teenage suspects considered armed and dangerous after their alleged killing spree. That American woman and her boyfriend discovered dead. Now the suspects are wanted in another case, and just in tonight, another burned out vehicle now discovered. The emergency at the largest airport in the U.S., the toddler jumping onto a baggage belt, the urgent calls for help. The murder of a college student at Ole Miss, new surveillance tonight, revealing how they tracked the young suspect 85 miles away. New images tonight, those two tornadoes in EF1 slamming Cape Cod. Winds more than 100 miles per hour. And the major wildfires we're watching, one near a nuclear site, already burning more than 110,000 acres. The major recall tonight, a type of breast implants possibly linked to a rare cancer. The tainted alcohol scare, authorities now say 20 deaths. And tonight, the raid in a popular tourist destination. The terrifying scene at Yellowstone, the family attacked by a bison, a 9-year-old girl tossed into the air. News on her condition tonight. And breaking news just in from Puerto Rico, the embattled governor there, and what he just revealed. And news coming in right now on North Korea tonight. Martha Raddatz is standing by live here in Washington.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from our nation's capital.
And good evening from Washington tonight, where we are following breaking news on North Korea right now. We're also following Robert Mueller tonight. He did not want to come to the Hill, but Special Counsel Robert Mueller did just that today, testifying before the American people. 7 hours of questions from two committees about the president, about his campaign, about Russia. And in the first minute of questioning, Mueller was asked, did you exonerate the president, as the president has repeatedly claimed? How Mueller answered that. Mueller was also asked, can the president be charged after he leaves office? And Mueller defending his team against claims of bias. He was asked, was this a witch hunt? Was it a hoax? And the president reacting just moments ago. ABC's Mary Bruce at the hearing room today, and she leads us off.
Robert Mueller walking into a hearing 2 years in the making.
You swear
he was a reluctant witness, but Democrats forced him to appear, pressing him on whether the president obstructed justice.
Director Mueller, the president has repeatedly claimed that your report found there was no obstruction and that it completely and totally exonerated him. But that is not what your report said, is it?
Correct. It is not what the report said.
So the report did not conclude that he did not commit obstruction of justice. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And what about total exoneration? Did you actually totally exonerate the president?
No.
But Mueller did not reach a conclusion on obstruction because the Justice Department's Office of Legal Counsel says a sitting president cannot be indicted. But can he be charged after he leaves office?
You could charge the president of the United States with obstruction of justice after he left office.
Yes.
Again and again, Democrats went back to the report to highlight the 10 incidents of possible obstruction by the president, including when Trump allegedly ordered his former White House counsel Don McGahn to fire Mueller. When the request was reported in the New York Times, McGahn said the president told him to deny it.
The president said, quote, fake news, folks, fake news, a typical New York Times fake story, end quote, correct?
Correct.
But your investigation actually found substantial evidence that McGahn was ordered by the president to fire you, correct?
Yes.
But did the president obstruct Mueller? Republicans pointed out Mueller kept his job.
Were you ever fired as special counsel, Mr. Mueller?
No.
No. Were you allowed to complete your investigation unencumbered?
Yes.
Republicans argued Mueller was out of bounds for offering examples of potential obstruction without drawing a conclusion.
You wrote 180 pages about decisions that weren't reached, about potential crimes that weren't charged.
Can I speak for a second?
Mueller offered a passionate defense of his team as Republicans accused them of political bias.
I have been in this business for almost 25 years, and in those 25 years, I have not had occasion once to ask somebody about their political affiliation. It is not done. What I care about is the capability of the individual to do the job and do the job quickly and seriously and with integrity.
Well, your investigation is not a witch hunt, is it?
It is not a witch hunt.
Still, Republicans said today it's over.
It's time for the curtain to close on the Russia hoax. The conspiracy theory is dead.
Would you agree that it was not a hoax, that the Russians were engaged in trying to impact our election?
Absolutely. That was not a hoax.
He said the Russians are at it again right now. And after 6 hours, one last question.
I gather that you believe that knowingly accepting foreign assistance during a presidential campaign is an unethical thing to do.
And a crime.
And a crime.
Circumstances, yes.
And to the degree,
And a crime given certain circumstances.
and to the degree that it undermines our democracy and our institutions, we can agree that it's also unpatriotic
True.
and wrong.
True.
So let's get right to Mary Bruce live tonight with me all day up here on the Hill. And Mary, the bottom line here, was there anything said today that'll change anyone's minds here on the Hill about whether to move forward with impeachment? Here's what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said just moments ago.
My position has always been whatever decision we made in that regard would have to be done with our strongest possible hand, and we still have some outstanding matters in the courts. It's about the Congress, the Constitution, and the courts, and we are fighting the president in the courts.
So, Mary, where do Democrats go from here?
Well, David, don't expect any imminent action here. Democratic leaders are making it clear they're going to stay the course. For now, impeachment is still on the table. But, David, the clock is ticking. Democrats are going to have to make a decision soon. Do they keep up this drumbeat to impeach, or do they change course and focus instead on beating Donald Trump at the ballot box in 2020? David.
Mary Bruce leading us off tonight. Mary, thank you. President Trump was watching and tweeting today, and you remember that he told our John Karl during the Russia investigation that he would sit down for an interview with Robert Mueller. So Mueller was asked today why he didn't fight to get that in-person interview. Mueller was asked, did you have enough evidence of possible obstruction? Is that why you passed? Mueller answering, we didn't do it because of the time it would take in the courts. And when pressed today, asked if the president's written answers were inadequate, incomplete, and not always truthful, Mueller answered, I would say generally. So let's get right to our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, because, John, even with all of that, the president and his team appear very confident tonight. Here's the president moments ago.
This was a very big day for our country. This was a very big day for the Republican Party. And you could say it was a great day for me, but I don't even like to say that. Robert Mueller did a horrible job, both today and with respect to the investigation. But in all fairness to Robert Mueller, he had nothing to work with. You know, you can be a builder, but if they don't give you the right materials, you're not going to build a very good building. Robert Mueller had no material.
So, John, bottom line, President Trump believes he has survived Mueller's testimony just fine.
David, he believes he has done more than survive. The phrase I kept hearing all day long from the president's top advisors was that today was an embarrassment for Democrats. Now, Mueller did contradict the president on several key facts, but nothing that he said today changes the calculus on impeachment. Democrats had high hopes for Robert Mueller, but David, after today, it is hard to imagine any scenario where it is Robert Mueller that brings down Donald Trump.
All right, John Karl with us as well. John, thank you. One last question on this tonight. Let's bring in Pierre Thomas, our senior justice correspondent. And Pierre, Robert Mueller said today that he believes, in his words, that we have underplayed this Russia thing, that they are at it again right now with 2020 coming.
That's right, David. Mueller wanted to emphasize just how grave the Russian threat remains. Here's one quote that struck me. He said, it wasn't a single attempt. They're doing it as we sit here, and they expect to do it during the next campaign. David, he took every opportunity to describe what he calls the sweeping and systematic attack on the 2016 election by the Russians. And he was clear that the Russians were, in fact, trying to help then-candidate Trump and to hurt Hillary Clinton. But Mueller also acknowledged that he did not find conclusive evidence of a conspiracy between the Trump campaign or the Russians, David.
All right, our thanks to Pierre, Mary, John, tonight, our entire team here in Washington, our coverage of the Mueller hearings for tonight. But we are also following breaking news as we're on the air tonight, coming in out of North Korea. 2 U.S. officials confirming tonight that North Korea has now fired at least one short-range projectile, the newest provocation. So let's get right to Martha Raddatz with late reporting tonight. Martha, what do we know?
David, you're correct. U.S. officials are confirming tonight that North Korea has fired at least one short-range projectile. The South Koreans are saying it was two, which traveled about 260 miles, which is similar to the two that the North launched in May. President Trump downplayed the missile launches last May. In fact, on Monday, the president boasted that there had been no missile or rocket testing and that his relationship with North Korea is very good. But today's launch could further complicate any new talks between Kim and Trump. David?
Martha Raddatz with us live here in Washington as well. Martha, thank you. To other news tonight, and the hunt for two young suspects in Canada considered armed and dangerous tonight, linked to the deaths of an American woman and her boyfriend found shot to death. They were on a road trip. The suspects are also wanted in another case, too. And tonight, the newest discovery, another burned out vehicle. ABC's Matt Gutman from Canada tonight.
Tonight, Canadian police hunting those two teenage murder suspects surging to Manitoba, setting up checkpoints outside a remote town after finding their torched car.
Last seen last night, confirmed in Gillam, Manitoba. And at this point, the search is on again.
Is it safe to say that you're now closing in on them?
Yeah.
The two have nearly crossed Canada the past 2 weeks, starting out from western British Columbia. Police say just 3 days later, murdering China decent Lucas Fowler 1,000 miles north. The boys then allegedly torching their camper and murdering another man 300 miles away before popping up on surveillance in this Toyota another 1,000 miles away in Saskatchewan. And finally overnight in Manitoba. Briar Schmigelski's father speaking to Czech TV when he still thought the two were missing and possible victims, saying they are good boys who like to play war games in the woods.
Both of them are totally into that. If there was any threat, they would have done what they've actually trained themselves to do, and they would have camouflaged themselves in the woods.
And David, we're told there are now thousands of officers involved in this massive dragnet across most of Canada, and police tell us they want to catch these two teen suspects alive because, pretty much like everybody else, they want to know why they allegedly did this. David.
Matt Gutman live in British Columbia tonight. Matt, thank you. And some very tense moments today at the nation's largest airport in Atlanta when a 2-year-old climbed onto a moving luggage conveyor belt. His mother could not get to him. ABC's Steve Osunsami is in Atlanta.
The baggage handlers at the Atlanta airport couldn't believe it, seeing this injured child speeding down the conveyor belt.
The child's hand is really swollen. Could you have EMS step it up?
Late this evening, the airport released the surveillance video. You see the child holding onto a bag and trying to crawl away. The call for help came from the massive bag room that sits below the check-in areas.
There's no parent with him. We don't know what carousel he came down, but he is injured.
Edith Vega says she was checking into a flight when she put her son down and he disappeared. This is the moment he gets behind the ticket counter and jumps on the belt.
I just went blank. I was like, hey, my son, I wanted to jump in and try to go get him, but didn't allow me. I was just freaking out, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope he's okay.
The boy is going to be okay. The airport says the belt was only activated when the child jumped on it and got it moving. David?
All right, Steve, our thanks to you as well. And next to new surveillance tonight in the case of a young woman from Missouri, a student at Ole Miss. The autopsy now revealing she was shot to death. And tonight, this photo from one of her social media sites showing her with the suspect under arrest now, a young man from Texas. This image 3 years ago. Tonight, how police caught the suspect some 85 miles away. Here's Marcus Moore.
Tonight, new questions about the young man suspected of murdering his Ole Miss classmate, Allie Costal, seen with her here in a photo posted to Costal's social media.
Gas station, Lafayette County, murder investigation, pinging the suspect's phone, male white, possibly armed.
22-year-old Brandon Thiesfeld was arrested Monday morning after he was spotted at this Memphis gas station. These images, obtained by a local Fox affiliate, capturing the takedown.
It's murder, and he is being held in our jail without bond.
Thiesfeld is now behind bars after Costal's body was found about 20 miles off campus near a popular lake, the college senior disappearing Friday. Tonight, police are not commenting on a motive or any relationship between the two. In a statement to ABC affiliate WFAA, Thiesfeld's father saying, "I've spoken to Brandon. I ask that everyone give him the benefit of the doubt that he is innocent." And David, that autopsy report revealing how brutal this murder was. Authorities say Allie was shot multiple times. David.
Marcus, thank you. We are also following news coming in from Puerto Rico at this hour. The embattled governor, Ricardo Rossello, Days of protest demanding he resign after sexist and homophobic text messages were released. ABC's Victor Akenda was outside the governor's mansion tonight. Victor.
David, the entire island in suspense right now, waiting to learn if embattled Governor Ricardo Rosselló will resign. We are right in front of the governor's mansion, a news conference set to start any minute now. This is the announcement. Hundreds of thousands